Welcome back. The state of Wisconsin has been attracting new data centers.
Yeah, there are more than 50 in the state, and several reasons Wisconsin looks good to technology companies, one of those being the tax incentives. Emily Beier joins us with a deeper look. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Tammy and Emerson. As our lives become more digital, the use of AI, more entertainment, the demand for data centers is going up. Across the country, there's more than 5,000 data centers. According to the Pew Research Center, that's roughly 40% of the global market. But where will they build next? Wisconsin is looking good after legislation in 2023 called Act 19. That allows sales and use tax exemption. To qualify for the exemption, companies must invest in a facility and meet minimum investment requirements based on county population. For counties that have a population of more than 50,000 people but less than 100,000, data companies have to invest $100 million in that county. For example, these exemptions allow the data center in Mount Pleasant to not pay sales tax on steel, concrete, and construction labor. For the facility in Beaver Dam, they won't have to pay the 5% sales tax on purchases of millions of dollars in servers, cooling systems, and specialized infrastructure. The goal of the tax break is to attract tech investment in Wisconsin. Critics of data centers warn the facilities could strain the state's energy and water supply. Local advocates say the cost to people's health also needs to be taken into account. Janie Black works for the nonprofit Moms Clean Air Force. They focus on projects that help reduce air pollution and improve the health of children and families. She started a Facebook group to connect communities to prevent large-scale data centers from coming to Wisconsin. She says there's a lot to consider with data centers, especially since technology is ever changing.
With the tax thing, what people are really afraid of and being forward thinking about is, will this technology become obsolete? We have technology experts that will tell you, look at how fast things change. So will it become obsolete?
Black says it's vital people take action and stay alert, because with tax exemptions like this, it puts a lot of small communities on the map for being a desirable spot for a future data center.